YouTube, welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm going to be showing you today the same haircutting system that I use for every single hair texture, every single hairstyle, and we're going to be using it on the little homie today to get him ready and confident and feeling fresh for school. Now, since his fade is going to be skin tight at the bottom, I always recommend that you establish the shape of how you want that fade with the clipper all the way closed. Now, you have requested in the comments for me to have the picture of the reference of the tool that we're using in the bottom right of the video, so I'm bringing it back, and leave a comment down below if you appreciate that, if it helps you follow along better. Now, something else, leave a comment down below if you typically start your fades with with the trimmer, actually. That's how I learned way back in the beginning. A lot of YouTubers are gonna tell you start with the trimmer. And it's not that they're giving you bad advice, but what is happening is that you're purposely making the fading job more difficult if you start with the trimmer. Remember, that's a machine that's designed to set a very sharp line for your front hairline, for the side edges, but it's not something that's meant to give a soft line that's easy to fade out. So that's why I like using the clipper, but you're gonna see as we get to the end of this haircut, it will come together the same, if not even better, at an easier level of difficulty. And it's the same reason why for the next guideline, I like to go ahead and use the half guard all the way closed. You certainly can go in and go clipper with no guard. Essentially it would be the same thing. But if you do this with the clipper, with the half guard on, lever closed, it leaves a slightly softer line that's gonna be easier to fade out, okay? I always look at it like it's easier to fade from guard to guard than it is to fade from no guard to guard. So if that makes sense. So this is a secondary guideline, and this is gonna set the stage for how blurry and how spaced out your fade is gonna be. Some people may like the more compressed look, and it's really nice for a picture, really nice for Instagram, but in the real world, as soon as you walk 5 feet away from somebody, the haircut's gonna look like a bowl cut, and you don't want that. So now, in order to establish the shape of the curls, right, the actual hair itself, and remove some bulk so we can blend easier, this is where I'm gonna be using my number 4 guard. Right, and you guys can do, if you choose to do the step with clipper over comb, or if you want to go, use your 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 guard, you can do that too. But I like to show you guys that it's not necessary to use every single guard while you're in this haircutting system, right? So we'll take this 4, and it's going to be tight at the bottom, and we're going to float our way up and off the head. But like I said, this is doing more than one thing. This is establishing the shape of the curls, the shape of the hair, and it's working on that transition while you fade down into the tighter lengths. Now, what you're also going to notice here is that I'm not only going to go against the grain with the number 4, but I'm also going to go with the grain using the same number 4 guard, and it's going to catch any hairs that I may have missed on my way up. So doing the combination of going up against the grain, going down with the grain, is just going to continue to smooth out this transition. And like I said, the haircutting system, the fading process, it never really changes. The only thing that happens is when you have more tighter curls on hair, sometimes you want to go a little bit against the grain and a little bit with the grain, just to make sure you don't leave any hairs behind. And also, while you're watching this video, guys, if at any point you not only want to use the haircutting system that I'm using, but you also want to use the tools that I'm using, check the tagged product section down below. I'm going to make sure to have some easy to follow links so you guys can find the tools that we're using, the clippers, the trimmers, the guards, all that. So you can have, like I said, not only the haircutting system, but also the tools that make my job easier, right? And more on the tools later, guys. This is what we're doing now. Notice we already used the 4. I'm not going to use the 3. I'm not going to use the 2. I'm going to skip straight down to this 1.5 guard. But as long as I have with the lever open and I use a soft cutting motion, pressure at the bottom, and float my way up and off the head, starting with it open and then working my way closed, it's gonna help me work on this transition, guys. And you're just gonna want to watch this and watch how it comes together. You can, of course, use your 3 open, your 3 closed, your 2 open, your 2 closed. You can go through all that, but why would you if there's a more efficient way that can give you just as clean of a finish? So watch how this comes together, guys. Like I said, pressure at the bottom, float your way up and off the head using this 1.5 guard. And just, the best way that I could put it and describe the motion is you're using the shape of the head as a ramp that you can launch the clipper up and off of, right? Doing that, it fades, it establishes the shape of the haircut overall, And you'll see once we're done here doing everything with it open, we'll follow up with it all the way closed. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty simple system, guys. Like I said, watch it come together. I do this on every single hair texture, every single hairstyle. The system does not change. So now at this point, we've already used all of the guards that we're gonna use. We're just returning now to this half guard with the lever all the way open. Remember at first we went in with the half guard all the way closed? So now we are here with the lever open, and we're gonna float this up into that 1.5 length right there that we set. This is just gonna be erasing and kind of detailing the any darkness that we see in the middle there. All we're gonna have to worry about after this, guys, is knocking out that very bottom bald line. And it's gonna be so easy because of the way that we set it up. Like, this haircutting system, guys, it works well. It's just, you know, it really is foolproof when you understand how the system works. But look, essentially, like I said, we got the half guard here now. I've got the lever all the way open, and I'm stretching as far as possible with this half guard, right? Working my way up into the area I was just cutting with the 1.5. So we're starting open, and then we're gonna go halfway closed, and then we're gonna go all the way closed just to match it. And I'll pick up with you in a moment when we're gonna knock out that very bottom bald line, guys. It's crazy how simple haircut it can be when you have a good system and you follow it religiously. Now, this is what I believe to be the most valuable part of my haircutting tutorials. I remember when I was a new barber, man, and it was time to fade out that very bottom bald line, I was always so afraid. And leave a comment down below if you can relate. I was afraid that my low fade was gonna turn to a mid, that my mid was gonna turn to a high, and my high was gonna turn to a boosie, a south side fade. The thing is, you have to understand that yes, this very bottom line is going to get higher and higher and higher. Yes, absolutely. But at the same time, every time that it goes higher, we're gonna be going higher another notch, which means it's also gonna get longer. So let's say if I break through this line with the clipper all the way close, right? You remember that's how I started the line. So let's break through it. And then I'm gonna hit the lever number 1, the notch number 1. And then I'm gonna raise up the fade a little bit more. Yes, it's higher, but it's also longer. Now I'm gonna hit the next notch open, and I'm gonna go another level higher, and then the next notch open and a little higher. And then before you know it, your clipper is all the way open, and you're floating your way up into this beautiful fade that you've already created. Notice too the motion, like you can see the way that I'm holding this clipper. I don't hold the clipper fully flat to the head, right? I have it elevated up and off the head so it gives an even softer cut. And these are all things that I've been able to pick up over the years, man. And I just try to show you guys, you know, how to learn this earlier than later. Because it was a big issue for me, man. Like when I was younger in the barbershop, I used to hate the fear of raising the fade too high. But there's literally nothing to worry about when you have a good, solid plan. Now let's watch the rest of this come together, and leave a comment down below what you think about the fading system and how it's coming out so far. So that fade came together pretty nice, man. I really like how the blend came out. I just needed to trim down now some of the bang area. Like his dad really wants his hair to be kind of trimmed up in the front before we line them up. So, and I guess it makes sense, right? The lineup can stay fresh for a little longer. So, you know, we're just following requests, man. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and knock down the hair a little bit here with this half guard. And then we're gonna get ready to go in with the trimmers. Now, I wanna emphasize something about this trimmers, about this lineup. These trimmers are 100% straight out of the box. These I didn't mess with the zero gap at all, like straight how they are. I charged them up and I used them, and they are smacking, bro. Like I think the earlier ones, maybe the setting wasn't perfect, so a lot of people had to make adjustments. But honestly, right now, the way that these things are coming out of the box, they are super fire. The lines are crispy, and of course they've got the same power, the same quietness, you know, and then they don't vibrate like heck in your hand, making your hand go numb, man. So it was a huge improvement, man. I'm so happy to have these trimmers. And you know, when it comes to this lineup, man, if you take care of the sides first, whether you like to do the C cups first or last, it can be advantageous to knock them out first, because you're almost like working into a finished product, right? You already know where the corners are going to be, you already know what the C cup curve is going to look like. But it's totally up to you, man. You can see here I knocked out the first C cup, then I knocked out the second C cup, and then we went to go attack that middle line. And the easiest way to knock out these lineups, guys, is you start in the very middle, and then you decide which side am I gonna attack first, right? I'm gonna hit the middle and I'll work my way off to one corner. I make sure that that's looking good. I can step back, making sure that it's looking balanced, and then I can return back to the middle and go ahead and hit the other side, right? I so much rather break up my lineup into two smaller jobs rather than having one long job, one long line working from one corner all the way to the other. So I think it's so much easier to do this, guys. I think it breaks it down really simple. And leave a comment down below if you agree with how this lineup process, you know, does this help you? So now, guys, you'll be able to see here why I started the fade with the clipper all the way closed, and why I say it's so much easier to cut like this. You can see here now we can bald out the very bottom of this fade using the trimmers, and it's gonna blend right up into and through that line that we put in with the clipper all the way closed. So it's so cool how that works out, man, because like that's another thing that would mess me up a lot. Like I would be doing so well in a haircut all the way up until these last little details, right? Erasing the bottom line, completely balding it out. That is where I would go and mess everything up. But it's because I would press way too hard on that initial bald line. So I hope that helps you, man. I think it's gonna save you guys a lot of headaches if you try it, you apply it, and you cut hair with this system. And like I said, it applies, guys, to straight hair, curly hair, like, you know, whether it's high fades, low fades, drop fades, the system always works. So that's what I wanted to show you guys today, man. Definitely leave your thoughts down below. And you can see also, man, I was able to go ahead and give my man a nice little clean little part here on the side. His dad always likes to see a little style in his hair, right? But I'm going to show you guys here the finished product. And if you're happy with it, please leave a comment down below. If you're not happy with it, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts either way, guys, man. And, you know, stay subscribed. I'm going to keep dropping more and more tutorials. And if you guys are ready to scale your businesses well beyond 6 figures, you already know how to cut, but you're ready to lock in on the business side. How do I do taxes? How do I market? How do I get more people in the door, and what to do with that income? Hit the link in the description down below for the 6-Figure Barber Mentorship. I'll be one of your coaches there with the Tune 45 program, and I'll see you guys soon, man. Thank you for tuning in.